Power Project family, how's it going? Now, we know that strength starts from the floor, which is why we want you guys to build strong feet. That's why we partnered with VIVO barefoot shoes, and we've been wearing these shoes for over a year now. Not only are they flexible, zero drop, meaning they're flat. They have a wide toe box so your feet can do what they need to do inside of the shoe. They also look great. If you go on their website, they have a lot of amazing options from casual wear to in-gym wear to running. With you go with VIVO barefoot, you can't go wrong, and your feet will get stronger as you wear the shoes. So if you're interested in checking them out, head to vivobarefoot.com/powerproject, and at checkout, use the code POWERVIVO20 to save yourself 20% off your entire purchase. Enjoy the episode.
Great to have you in studio today. You have a gym that's not too far from here, right?
Yeah, not too far. It's in Madison, Mazanita. I would say maybe 15 minutes away from here. The one and the other one's in Roseville.
And you said you've been doing Jiu Jitsu since you were 18.
Yeah.
How did you get started in it?
I started. I was a kid that loved to do weights, right? But I don't see me being like a bodybuilder. Or in Brazil, we don't have much the power lifters or the Olympic lift was really poor back then. I think still not even.
Soccer's a big thing.
Soccer, yeah, judo, but jiu-jitsu wasn't that big back then. Just more in Rio de Janeiro and Manaus, São Paulo, say 3 cities that was famous about jiu-jitsu, but even it was hard for me to find jiu-jitsu in the first place in Brazil when I was a kid. And I started first I was doing weights, but I didn't see me, how can I be involved in sport, right? Competitive, maybe make living in sport somehow, right? Now, I was 15, 16 years old, run out of time in my mind, right? Like, man, like you asked me if I started when I was a kid. When you stay kid, you start 6, 8 years old, right? And I didn't see a future for me on the Olympic lift or power lift. And I started searching for things that I could do well. Capoeira. I don't know if you ever heard about Capoeira. I did Capoeira when I was starting in 11.
Can you explain that a little bit, what that is?
Capoeira, it's a Brazilian martial arts, came from the slaves in Brazil. They created Capoeira. It's just for they can defend themselves and for they can escape from whatever they came from and all. But they couldn't practice Capoeira, right? And whereas they practice Capoeira, I don't know how called the people that they were slave for, right?
If people that were in charge wouldn't let them do it, so they would. So it kind of looks a little bit like dance almost.
And they start dancing. They start dancing, right? Well, they start practicing punches, kicks. But whenever they show up because they couldn't practice martial arts, they start dancing instead of throw punch and kicks.
Like,
that's
we're
how
not
they
fighting.
We're not fighting. And they have this train with swords and knives. They do the same thing too. Whenever they have in the hands. If someone show up to see them, they start dancing. No, we're just dancing, and it's super. You can see it's the agility, the acrobatics, right?
Acrobatics.
Yeah,
it's like 15 seconds of that would just blow you right up.
Yeah, exactly, right. And, but I was really bad on capoeira. I was actually
did someone tell you that, or
no? I noticed. My friends that after they went to jiu-jitsu with me, they said, "No, you weren't that bad." I said, "No, I was really bad." Every time I had a chance, I was try to grab my training partner or my opponent, right? So I try to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
And when I was 17, I started doing judo. But I was already. Once I started doing judo, I loved the ground game more than we call the niwaza, right? It's the ground game in judo, and tachiwaza is the takedowns, right? And I was loved to be on the ground, doing the submissions and I saw jiu-jitsu first time on TV, right? Right after I started doing judo. When I saw, they said, "Oh, is this a judo?" No, because they wear the gi, they have the referee, and when they would hit the ground, they didn't stop. They kept going. What is this, right? How they allowed the ref didn't say mate, or they stopped to stop, right? They say to stop to stand up. No, they kept going on the ground. Man, this is awesome, right? I can keep going on this, and they start looking more search back then, no, but I've tried hear about, because for me, jiu-jitsu, when I heard, was more like a aikido, just self-defense stuff, right? Grab the joints and hold the blocks, but no ground game.
That's what I remember hearing too, about just a lot of martial arts, that it was more defense, you know. And I think you starting out with lifting, I always find is really interesting, because I think a lot of us when we're younger, maybe it's like an insecurity, or maybe it's that we just want to be like a little bigger, a little stronger. But like, why do you want to be bigger and stronger? You probably want to look a little bit more intimidating. You want to maybe look a little bit more substantial. Maybe you think that the transfer of like you doing some deadlifts and bench press is going to transfer over into you being able to fight.
Yeah.
And now we know that's just not the case, especially when it comes to something like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right. And that's how when I saw the on the sport channel showing jiu-jitsu in Rio, I said, man, this is awesome. It's nothing that I thought about. I thought it would be just kata stuff, right? Grab the joints and throw. No, they will fight in the ground. And I like the interviews that I saw talk about jiu-jitsu. And I started searching for jiu-jitsu in Brasilia. I'm from the capital of Brazil. And they had a class for these old masters, but he was more to the self-defense aspect too, right? But I was doing school at nighttime. I couldn't train at night. That's why I stuck in jiu-jitsu for another year and a half until I started training jiu-jitsu on the morning with a friend of my brother. He was a blue belt. It's a blue belt to Brasilia back then. It was like a red belt here right now, right? And I started training with him and fall in love first time that I started. Judo, I was already hooked up in judo. But when I started doing jiu-jitsu, was like, that's what I want to do it. And from there, I trained with this guy for like maybe 6 months. One day I went to another judo class. I'm just get the story longer, right? And I saw this guy as a brown belt in a judo class, right? But this day it was just rolling, just a free spar, rolling free jiu-jitsu, more ground spar, no niwaza, right? Not takedowns off like this. And I asked the guy, hey, are you a brown belt in a judo? Where are you training here? No, I'm brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I thought, my gosh, I said, a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, really? I said, yeah, can I roll with you? Right? And I rolled with the guy. The guy just, it beat the crap out of me. So easy, right?
How new were you at that point?
I was pretty new.
Okay,
right?
okay.
I would say a good blue belt, but I was a white belt still.
Okay.
But for the amount of training I have in judo, just putting the ground game in judo, and the 6 months I spent with my friend of mine training, I was a decent blue belt. Not nowadays, no, but for back then, right?
Yeah.
And he just ran through me like nothing, right? I said, man, I cannot believe this. And I was already rolling for a black belt in judo, doing well. I said, man, where you come from? No, this is amazing what you did with me. And I have a very funny story, because the same day that I went there, I had this guy that was trained jiu-jitsu in the same place of me. The guy was a bully, right? And he was a blue belt already. And this guy asked, hey, you train I think it was a Wednesday afternoon at this judo place. How does that work? I knew that he was just try get there, try get the info from me, see if he can go get there and beat the guys. That I said, look, very friendly atmosphere. Those guys was awesome. Most for judo, like a brand new white belt, but they're good people, right? The instructor was really nice guy too. They allowed us to get there and roll. And said, hey, yeah, can I go with you? I said, yeah. I was kind of upset because I knew he wouldn't get there to try bully those guys, right? And I didn't have a time to tell the instructor. And we went, when he got there, he was waiting for me, but we were never close, right? He was waiting for me. We got there together. I'm saying he's a bully because he didn't roll with, this other guy that was a monster too, the Story of Jiu-Jitsu with me. He never rolled with us. Every time they would get in the class, he asked you to roll with the guys that he couldn't handle, right? But we never roll with, and me, this guy always rolled together.
That would be how I'd play the game.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let me go against those two guys all the time.
Yeah.
But not those other two guys.
Yeah, never. And, anyways, we got there, and I introduced myself to this brown belt, and I got my butt kicked, right? And he walked to this brown belt, super cool. Okay, when I roll, because he thought this guy is a brown belt in judo, right? And I can see for the face of the guy, because I talked with the brown belt after, right? He turned to be my instructor that gave all my belts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how I met him, right?
Okay.
And he just ran through him and I was just looking corner of my eyes, right? And I was just, let's say, it was 6 minutes, 3 minutes, they stopped because the guy cut his, the brown belt cut his foot, right? It's sliding the edge as a screw that it cut his foot. And they stopped to cover up, clean the mats and everything. But I told the guy, hey, where you come from, right? What are you doing here? He said, no, I'm from originally from here, but I moved to Rio to college. But I came back here because I want to study to be a federal police, which is that's the biggest police in Brazil, right? I'm in school now. Say, hey, why don't take part-time jobs, start teaching jiu-jitsu, right? And he said, no, I don't know if I want to turn my focus on this, right? I love jiu-jitsu, but maybe just for a couple times a week, why not, right? And the very next day, or maybe a few days after, and I found out that he would have come to another school gym that have a mats just to train the guys there. It was from judo too. And we were trained together at this blue belt gym with this a friend of mine. I told him about it. I said, hey, you guys know I'm here just to help you guys, but I'm not pretending to make my living teaching jiu-jitsu. If you guys want to go, you see this guy, this brown belt, why do you not go there? Like 30 guys show up there, right? And when you show up there, he run the class and he beat half the class, right? Nice and gentle. Right? His nickname is Tank. You can imagine how gentle he is, right? and from there, the owner of the gym came, hey, you're going to have to start teaching at least 3 times a week. He said, no, but I can't. I said, look, I have 30 guys here ready to sign up, right? You broke, right? You don't have money, right? You live with your parents now. He was 22, 23 years old. Friend, you just, I think you can put those both things together. Still study and run for some classes, right? And that's it. He started teaching and make a muscle too, make some decent money.
Right.
He forgot about federal police and now, he's a jiu-jitsu instructor since then, right? Yeah.
How about you though? Because you mentioned that you were in school, and what were you trying to be before you focused on being a jiu-jitsu athlete and instructor?
I want to be an athlete. I want to be somehow involved in sport.
So
right? I would have said that if I didn't find jiu-jitsu before, because I wasn't good in school, to be honest, right? Yeah. In Brazil, if you're not good in school, they don't let you pass. You're going to have to do another year. And I was like 2 years behind.
Oh, wow.
And I was maybe 18 years old when I started training jiu-jitsu for serious, right? And I told my parents, I said, look, that's what I found jiu-jitsu. But before there, I was lost. Right? Like most of the kids, but I'm lost. But how many kids now you see in the 20s, they don't have no idea what to do in life, right?
Yeah.
And I was 18, and before that, I'm looking back now, 30 years back, I said, man, actually, no, I knew it since I was 15, 14 years old. I remember my dad is not involved with sport at all, right? He's a guy, what do you call those guys that wake up in the morning, goes to work, right? He worked in the electrical companies in Brazil, the light companies in Brazil, consulting, and he was an engineer, but he was smart when he with his craft, right? He knew what he was doing. He doing seminars all over Brazil, clinics, and for him to, it's never thought that, especially coming from Brazil, a kid couldn't make a living in sports, right? He said, look, you are athlete now, Olympic athlete or soccer player. Or what are you going to do, right? And I have my mind, no, I'm going to find something that I want to do related to sport. If it's not, I go to a PE school, college, and some way I'm going to be involved in this. That's what I want. And for him, it was like, I just see you every morning, just going through the sport newspaper, but I never see you read the economy or politicians. But what the hell that are going to read this? It's not part of my personality, right? My identity, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing that I like. But yes, when I got 18 years old, I said, that's what I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And my focus was 100%. I didn't know how at that point, but I knew it. Jiu-Jitsu would be involved in my life.
Yeah.
For sure. And the crazy thing I was expected that my parents already embraced it. They said, you know what, that's what I want to do it. Cool. Yeah, we'll support you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where, if you saw my passion about jiu-jitsu, seeing the first time he's 100% focused on one thing, right? Wake up 6 a.m. to train jiu-jitsu, afternoon train jiu-jitsu, evening train jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I need to help this kid. My dad taught.
Yeah.
Right? I need to help this kid.
That part is really fascinating to me because a lot of times we might not think of ourselves as being smart or being capable of certain things, but then you find what you love and you just find yourself doing it a lot, and then you end up becoming proficient at it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, at that point, I was lost, but 16 to 18 years old kid lost, it's normal, right? But that's what it's supposed to, right? It's very rare to see someone in that age searching for something. I remember that I was 17 years old. I was working this clothing store in Brazil. I was making a really good money for that age, you know. And after 6 months working there, I make like I said, a decent money for, take care of myself. And one day I was looking for, man, what the hell that I'm doing here? Right? I'm not gonna buy this store. I'm not gonna own this clothes, but I cannot make the rest of my life living selling clothes, right? And I just left.
Selling somebody else's clothes. Right?
Yeah, yes, I just left. Yeah. I don't want to do this. And from that point, I started searching. Okay, that's I need to do. I'm doing judo right now. I like it, but how can I make this even better? That's when jiu-jitsu came in my life.
What do you think is like on the inside for you that made you, when you did jiu-jitsu and when you got your ass kicked a bunch of times by people that were better than you, what do you think encouraged you to go back to do more? Like, why did you want to find out more? A lot of times people, they get chewed up and spit out by a sport, and they're just like, peace out, I'm good. What do you think made you come back for more? Why did you want to learn that more?
I would say that first, love, right? Passion. I had so much passion for the thing that I didn't get too upset when I was losing. It's because I knew that I from there, it was just improvement.
You maybe just thought it was like time. Like, this guy beat me because of time. Like, he knows, he has more knowledge than me.
And going back to what I said about capoeira or the other sports I did in the past, I wasn't good, right? That one there, I felt that I could do well. What a way, right? And my instinct, like you mentioned before I started the podcast, I felt like the way that I was moving, plus the few years of weights that I have before, right? And one of the coolest thing ever is I didn't see the time pass. When I was on the mat, like an hour, 2 hours throughout pass, I thought, man, already? Right? I didn't want. That's when I feels like Monday was more important than the weekends for me. Because I want to go back. Weekends for me was boring because I didn't have a train. You train Saturday morning, and Sundays, I was, what am I going to do Sunday now? Right? I don't have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to get Monday to train again. Combine of this whole thing and know that I could have moved well, and I was already doing well for my age, for the time that I spent on the mat. I said, yes, I think I think I know what I'm doing here.
How's it? Because I sent Andrew this video. It's a video with him and Helio Gracie.
Yeah.
How did that happen? And how, were you were a white belt, right?
Yeah.
So, how did you get to do this?
My dad. That's an incredible story, right? That's when I said that, look here, I was 18, 19 years old on this one here. When my dad saw me, okay, that's what I want to do for a living, right? That's what I want to do. You need to look for the best for you, right? That's crazy, right? And my dad is a good storyteller, right? And he communicates really well. And he said, okay. And in the 50s, 60s, he came to, he did he was in the Mariners on Brazil, on Rio. He knew all the stories about the Gracie family, right? I said, no, when you talk about jiu-jitsu, the only people that I know is the Gracies, right? And he traveled a lot back then, right? All over the Brazil doing clinics, like I mentioned before. And he, one day, not even tell me, right? He go to the yellow pages, saw got the address for the Gracie Maita, where the most iconic Gracie school. And he decided to get there, right? In middle of the week, in the morning, or before he went to work. When he got there, the first person that I meet was Hélio Gracie. And Hélio Gracie was 79 years old back then, and he lived in Itaipava. It's a city. It's like here to Lake Tahoe. And it just once a week he was going down to Rio to see the school and run a couple lessons, private lessons, things that I have to do in Rio. I want to go back like once a week. And that's the day that I met my dad met him. They sat down, they start talking. I said, look, I'm from Brazil, introduced himself, and I'm from Brasilia. My son is super passionate about jiu-jitsu, right? And but he doesn't have a place to train. I was still training with the blue belt, the blue belt that I mentioned before. And like him, I have a few other kids and guys that love to be involved in jiu-jitsu. You guys have anyone to bring to Brazil to teach there? And he said, look, right now, the only people that I trust is my own kids. And they're all over, right? They have one in the school here, one in São Paulo, Hickson, Horion, and Royce was already here in LA. And I don't have anyone to teach him. Why you don't bring him here? Oh, really? Well, yeah, bring him before I can meet him. I said, okay. And this was a week before. And a week after we were there. We went to his ranch. We spent the day there with him. Training, talking, right? And it was a beautiful place on like the mountains. Looks a lot like Lake Tahoe, right? The mountains, greens, the Gracie Valley, they call.
Did he feel pretty strong even at that age?
Yeah, his grips, it's unbelievable. Yeah, we roll. I don't think we have a scene that we're rolling, right? But I was really impressed by his grips. And a lot of specific training. It's not a free roll, right? He said, okay, let me get you in the mount position. And he was try to choke me from there, armbar me, I try escape. And it's vice versa. We switch, I went down, and he's on top. I was on top, he's on down. He's trying to defend. But yeah, it was a great experience. And the fun story, this was 1993, August 1993, right?
Yeah.
And he said, okay, he arranged with my dad. We bring out your son here, but I couldn't do back then on this time because I was in school. So maybe you can start in January. You bring him, you're going to stay a few months with me. We're going to train him. More like a certified teacher, right? And my dad, okay, good. And I was kind of hesitant because from everything that I know, I heard from jiu-jitsu, right? Take forever to get a black belt, right? But what he was trying to explain for me to my dad, look, I'm not saying your son is going to be a world champion in Vale Tudo or jiu-jitsu in 6 months, but everything, he has a book on his desk. Everything that I know from jiu-jitsu is here, right? That's what all my instructors have been teaching for the last 40 years. It's here. That's what my kids teach. If he likes sport jiu-jitsu or be a Vale Tudo fighter, it's a different story, right? But everything that I have, I can teach him everything that I have over here. It's on him what he's going to do after that. But he said, I'm leaving right now to LA, and one of my kids gonna fight in November now. And he's gonna fight November. I'm there to train him. That's why I cannot do this next few months because I'm going to LA, and they're gonna fight. It's gonna be the 8 best martial arts in the road, right?
Is that the UFC?
First UFC.
Wow,
Yes.
snap.
Oh my god,
Crazy story, right?
yeah, that's insane.
It was November, I think it was the first UFC, November 1993. This was like end of August. But anyways, during that time, that's when I met my instructor, right? And the plan followed through. I said, you know what? It would be if I was looking back now, I would have do it 100% sure. More for the experience to be around that guy for more days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And life experience. I don't think it would be easy because, of course, in this age, it can be stubborn, it can be, it wouldn't be easy to, but have a certified from him and carry this for my career would be a great story, right? Mm-hmm. I think great for my curriculum. But I was just that day, and I met him a couple of times in tournaments too. It's crazy. Maybe 3 years later, I think it was '96. I saw him in a tournament. I walked to him. He say hi, and he recognized me. Hey, how's your Mr. Werneck doing? Comment. Everything was Mr. All sir. Yeah. Super respectful. Crazy guy, right? So many fights he got in his life, right? To represent Jiu Jitsu. Uh-huh. But it was a great day. Probably one of for sure for stories to tell my kids and my story with me, my dad, because I'm the youngest for four kids, right? Oh. And have that time just me, my dad, and him supporting me, something that I like, right? It's nothing relate with him. It would be easy for him just talk about what he was doing with my oldest brother, right? For living, no, but for me it was him get involved, something that is not much his craft, but he willing to help, make sure that he does this best for his son. Right?
That's a really good lesson for parents that are listening. I always say that my dad bought us a weight set in our garage when I was maybe 11 or something like that, 12. And, I started lifting in there with my brothers, and it just changed our lives forever. So to the parents listening, what is the thing that you could do for your child? Yeah. Simply taking them to jiu-jitsu one time, happened to meet one of the greatest of all time, kind of the guy that's labeled as bringing jiu-jitsu really to worldwide recognition. I mean, honestly, right? The Gracie family, and along with all the things they did in the UFC and stuff like that, I mean, it really changed everything forever. So there could be a moment in you have children, right? There could be a moment in your child's life right now where you take them to that baseball practice, or you take them to that thing that they fall in love with, and they end up with their own version of jiu-jitsu.
100%, yes.
Actually, how is it? Because Noah is crushing right now. Yeah. How long has he been doing it? I didn't even know that he was doing it that long.
Yeah, it's me as a parent, seeing what we just said, right? And but being a jiu-jitsu instructor, one of the things that you want to do is how can you find the line of help, push, encourage, or push too far, right? And the way that I see jiu-jitsu, especially competitive jiu-jitsu, it's just one way in, right? It's not recreational sport to do it, right? It's individual. You rely just on you, right? To show, to practice, to train, and to compete. And I never want to. It's not that I never wanted, right? I never thought they would be involved the way that I was, because I don't want to. They do it just because me, right? Mm-hmm. And I have 4. My oldest, he probably trains more than Noah as a young age, because now he's 15. Okay. But he doesn't like at all. He trains for a while, then I'm hopefully that a few years from now he's going to realize it's going to be good for him if you go back to jiu-jitsu, right? But he don't want to be part of, right? And like I said, I don't have the line of how can I encourage him that I'll push him, force him? Force him is not going to work.
Yeah. Right? Give him his space, right?
And my daughter now, the second oldest, she's 12, and she's like this. Since we start pandemic, right? Since the pandemic started, we decide, look, we're stuck in house. We need to do something. We need to have routine, right? Yeah. We're gonna start working out. It was my oldest and my daughter. Is our daughter 12, and Noah, it's 9 now. He was 6 back then, right? So we're gonna create a routine. We're gonna start working out at home, and I'll do sets of body workouts for them. And My daughter is one of those that she never complain. She just do it. My oldest, I have to do this. No, it's not him, right? It's, okay, but he kept it for a while until we were stuck at home. He kept it. I said, look, every workout that you guys do, I'm gonna pay you $2, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, every section, and they were. His daughter said, "Hey, let's work out." She was up to do it, and Noah, he was more than ready. Right, he was the one that want to push.
Yeah,
the harder, and I saw different. He's a different cat. He's a really different cat. For everything that he went through life, he's a different cat. And when we came back and of course doing classes, especially kids took a little longer than adults to go back after pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And he was this March during recreational jiu-jitsu. I was not even looking at him teach jiu-jitsu because it got me nerves if you mess around, right? So if you see him mess around, and the other kids can, but my kids cannot, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even looking class. Just for I don't have the desire to push him as a dad, as a competitor, right? One day he asked one of the kids there at the school what I was looking to do a tournament, and he asked my wife if he could go and watch. Not even ask me, right? And they went there to watch a tournament. And he came back to me, hey, Dad, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, you really want to do this? Right? I don't mess around in tournaments, right? For me, no, me. If you to do a tournament, every student that I want to compete, they have to ask me first.
Yeah.
And I do the same speech that I did for Noah. I do it for everyone. So look, are you willing to train? How many times do you train a week? 2. If you forget it, right? I said, no, but I'm going to train. How many times you can train? 4. Okay, good. 4. What else? What do you mean? What else? You need to mean something to you, right? Well, why are you going to go run marathon that I'll train for marathon, right? I'm going to jog 3 miles. I'm going to run to marathon. No, it's not worth it. Even if you finish, you cross the line. What do you take it, right? The next day you're going to be
could have done better.
Yes.
You could have prepared.
Better prepared. I think that the journey is more important than the final destination, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. I promise I'm going to train hard. And since then, now is November now, right? You get it to November. He competed, I think, 9 tournaments or 10 tournaments. Had 40-something matches, lost 5 and won 39, 38 by submission, right? And he's training hard. Now we have a class every day. I have no-gi classes on Tuesday, Thursday for kids. Mm-hmm. He trained Sunday to Sunday. He's not even rest on no Sunday to Sunday. We're still doing workout. Body workout. I started implement some weights on him too, right? Never complain. But let's talk about my daughter. My daughter, she didn't find something that she loves, but she have discipline. Or she knows, or she's gonna train jiu-jitsu. She comes to class sometimes, 1-2 a week, but she's at home, or she's doing the Peloton bike. She's doing body workout. She has the sets that we do. Okay, mm-hmm. Pull-ups, push-ups, and squat. Body weight, right? Do 20 sets. When I get home, she's write down all the sets she does. Mm-hmm. But she didn't find something that she loves. But she think that sports not gonna be involved a professional for her. She doesn't. She's not looking for this, right? But she knows how important it is for her to practice something. Right.
Just for her lifestyle.
For lifestyle, for sure. Yeah.
That's super mature. How old is she?
She's 12. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's mature as a kid.
Yeah. It's great to know what you don't want.
Yeah. And she again, I'm leaving to the school. I say, hey, what are you going to do today? What do you have for me? I said, okay, we can do Peloton bike. One thing she does, she have a pool in the backyard. She walk in the pool doing lunges, squats. Right, it's crazy, right? Yeah. She walking. She loves to walk. I say, could do 2 laps walking and stop. Do like 20 squats. And has a board what do you call no trampoline board, the ones to jump in the pool. Right?
Yeah, but diving.
Yeah, okay, here you can do lunges, jumping on the board, right? The diving board, you jump.
How old is she?
She's 12.
Yeah.
And but now we started, this was in March 2020, right? 2.5 years. And man, those shoes, they're up to $2,000 for all the one they collect.
That's amazing.
No, I got to $3.
Does Nsima get paid to go to go to your school?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Trying to cheat the system for you.
Some days he makes $5 because some days, no, pretty much every day he trains and workout. On Tuesday he does the no-gi class. Get at 4:30 in the morning. Afternoon.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
He got 4:30 there. He trains no-gi, and after an hour, Julian, amazing instructor, right? He's his best training partner. He learns more from Julian than learns from me. How much they roll together, right? And Julian spent another an hour just drilling, because Julian is very patient. He's one of those guys, brains for technique, right? He doesn't drip a sweat on his head if you need to do something perfect. If you need to use energy, he stop, right? Because the technique has to be perfect. And they drill a lot together. He shows all that. He spent another hour with the kids drilling technique. And on my class starts 6:45. Has a girl that she cannot make. She's young too. She cannot make for the adult class, for the kids class. She comes with her sister on the night, Tuesday night, and he pretty much stay for 4:30 to 8:15 every Tuesday, just training, right? But it feels, of course, I don't want to. We never know the future, right? But he is a different cat, right? He right now he shows that he likes. We have more competition coming up for him this November. But again, I see a lot of him on me, right? It's natural for me to get that connection with him and understand his mindset. But I try not pushing as a dad, as a coach, right? But until this point, everything that I received, he's absorbed well, and I said, no, I'm capable of to do it.
Yeah, and back to your thing about, you said the journey versus the actual event itself. I think that's what we're hopeful for with our children, is that they learn like what you got from jiu-jitsu, and not necessarily that they just do jiu-jitsu. I feel the same way with my children. I probably did it too early, looking back on it, but and I took this from Hélio Gracie. I saw an interview with him one time, and he was like, I don't know how to do anything else. This is what I know how to do, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And he showed them jiu-jitsu. So the next day, I was all fired up, and I showed my kids. You know, I took them in the garage and showed them, like, hey, this is a curl, this is a deadlift, this is this move, this move. And, you know, they were too young to, like, really absorb what the hell I was talking about. They were probably, Jake was probably 8 or 9, and Quinn was probably, like, 6 or something. But I was just like, if you ever want to know more about it, this is what I know how to do, and we can do more of it. So we did more of it here and there, sporadically. And then now my son is in there working out all the time, you know, so it's cool that he found something that he likes. My daughter likes volleyball, and I think that's all we can kind of hope for, is that they find something they're attracted to, and then maybe they can turn it into something that they get tunnel vision about, and they learn how smart they could be in a particular category. Yeah,
whatever it is, right? It's not just in sport in general, but whatever they can find something that it's the search for every parent, right? We of course want to see our kids succeed, right? But succeed means, like, it's not just be super wealthy, rich. Is find the passion, find the things that they love to, right? And before we can support. But yes, it's a tough task as a parent, right? You know, to see our kids struggle. But that's what that's my goal when I see my kids. I mean, I hope they can find something. They can find their own jiu-jitsu in their lives, right? And like I said, if it's not jiu-jitsu for Noah in the near future, right? But hopefully they keep the same passion that he has right now for jiu-jitsu. Yeah. That when he competes, the dedication that he has for another path that he takes, right?
For you, how long did it take you to get your black belt? Because you won Worlds in 2003. So how long was it for you to get your black belt? and then for you to win your first world championship?
Okay. I got all my belts with my tank. The guy that I meet was a brown belt, right? White to black. I started with him on August or September 1993, and I got my black belt in November, if I'm not wrong, November or December, somewhere there, 98, like five. But I was practiced before, right?
Yeah.
I have like a year and a half in judo, plus the 6 months I spent with my the blue belt friend of us that teach me, my brothers.
Yeah.
But with my instructor, it was 5.5 years. But I would say that when I got to him, I was like a good blue belt.
Yeah.
But they all had been promoted because we didn't have anyone to promote us back then. But it was 2003. I got and it's funny because when I got to, when I won Worlds in 2003, it was the same year that I moved here, right?
So you won Worlds and then you moved here?
No, I moved here 6 months after I won Worlds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What is crazy is because the highest belt that I have here, my best trained part was Derek Germano from Waza, right? And he was everyday guy worked on the desk back then for 13 hours. They show up twice a week to train with me, right? Because he was so busy. And have Tyron Glover, which was a really good guy too that was here back then to move to Denver. He's a lawyer now. And he.
How many times have you watched this?
A few.
Yeah.
When I moved here, everyone thought I was 29. Everyone said, "Okay, Cassio, he attempted to compete at Rhodes from 99 to 2003, 2002. In 2002, I have a knee surgery, didn't compete well, but and I never won, right? Maybe now he's gonna settle in and just be a teacher, right?
Yeah.
But my mind said, no, I cannot just walk away from this. And it's crazy because the years before 2003, I was going to Rio, train Brazil top team with like maybe 15, 20 black belts, high level black belts, train with me. I was doing really well in training, practice, rolling, of course, competing. We have to get through. Because there was so many black belts for the team A, team B, team C. We go to the trials inside the gym, right? Inside the team. And but I never, I was one, lost the second one. 1-2, lost the third match.
Yeah.
Never got to the podium. And everyone thought, okay, he's done. He's not going to compete. He was a good competitor, but never won nothing, right? I moved here, my life just changed, right? Like I got there a week before Rhodes, not even trained with black belt levels, right? Guys in my level better than me. And I was my best performance. The week before I had the Road Cup. I did really well the Road Cup. And crazy because it was a Road Cup on 1 week and the Rhodes next week. And I did really well in the open division, right? And I lost in the semifinals, the Open. I beat, and one of my matches, I beat Fabrício Verdun, the guy that won, the heavyweight. The guy's a monster, right? Taller than, heavier than Nsima. It's not athletic than Nsima, but heavier than Nsima, black belt. Yeah. I won him, and I lost in my very next match against Gabriel Gonzaga. It's another guy fought UFC for the world title, a monster, right? I lost by decision.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's real big.
Yeah. I lost by...
I don't know, Gabriel Gonzaga?
Gabriel Gonzaga. Gabriel.
I mean, both the guys you named were both heavyweight. They're both big guys.
Yeah, he fought for the title against Renko 2 a few years after this. But it's funny because Fabrício Verdun and Gabriel Gonzaga, they fought MMA too against each other twice.
This guy's huge.
But...
he's like huge and like furry. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, that's a big dude.
That's the guy that I have right after fight. But I have 2 matches before Fabrício Verdun.
That's a good one right there. Like you beat that guy? Yep.
No, I lost to him. But I beat
you beat Fabrício.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like right after I fought Fabrício, I was tired as hell, right? Lay down there, say, hey, you have your next match in 10 minutes. I said, really? When I look, I was like, Gonzaga, just wait for me to the crowd. I said, oh my gosh, I have to fight this guy. And Fabrício is way taller than Gonzaga, Right?
What was your body weight back then? And
I was like
were the weight classes different back then? Or?
Yeah, I was 180. I was pretty big.
You were thick, man.
Thick.
Yeah,
no, big for my height, right?
Your neck was.
Yeah,
massive.
I was a 187. I used to walk around 195, 200, a leaner 195.
And then that just puts you into the maximum weight class?
No, this was absolute division. I was middle heavy.
Oh,
I still have like a heavy, super heavy, ultra heavy. I have three divisions above mine, right? There was in the open division, the Road Cup, and I fought him. And when I fought, I lost by decision by Gonzaga or by advantage. I don't remember how, but I lost. And when I got to the next day, it was my division. I was so tired for all the 4 matches that I have prior, so against the big guys. And I lost my first match on my division by this guy, right? Man, I cannot believe, how we're gonna do it next week is Rhodes, and I just lost to this guy, and by points. And one was funny because during the match he swept me like he was a guard guy. He turned, put me on the bottom. I swept him right back, and he swept me back. It was a 4-2, and he walked in my close guard, right? And it has this guard pads they call Paulista pass. It's a guys from they hold their hip and start walking the side, just like a smash pass, but in close guard, right? To break the guard and pass. And this guy was famous for this. I want to push him away, right? And I have my hands on his neck just to push him, just don't let him stall or just do what he does best. I push him, and anyways, finish the match. And when I walk to the stands, I look my fingernails. All bloody inside here. Right? What the hell is this? He walked to me, hey, guys, look what you did on my neck. Because I was so desperate to push him away. From, man, really? But I trimmed my fingernails with. Yeah. But I was so willing to. I cannot accept this. Right? Came all over from Sacramento. I cannot lose my first match. I was so obsessed. So I think the mental part was important for me that time, because I remember I left my wife here. I came to Brazil. For me, came to Brazil was a heaven, right? See my family, competing, my students, all my students waiting for me. It was so awesome that being that part and competing. She's just go, right? I know you're going for compete. It's not going for vacation. And my mind was completely set to get there, do my best. And the week after was Rhodes. But during that time, I have a food poison. Right, and I spent the 4 days and stuck at home, just stomach, what do you call? Sad, and in bad shape, right? Yeah. If the Rhodes were a day before the day that I won, probably I wouldn't be able to compete. Yeah. And when I got the next day, man, I felt like I felt like a hero, Superman. Like everything works perfect. But anyways, I got my semifinal match was the guy that beat the week before. That beat me the week before, right? Yeah. And I said, I cannot let this guy do what he does best, right? He pull for the half guard and sweep you, hold you tight, you're not moving, upset you, and then pass your guard if you mistake. And I pull guard, right? And I Nsima him. I collar drag. What? When I collar drag him, he walked to the side, I jump over his back and I choke him. And it has maybe one of my highlights, you see him. I choke him, I get up, he was limp, go like, oh man, it's such a great feeling, right? Yeah. And then I won the finals.
Did you surprise yourself by winning Worlds, or did you and did you compete in Worlds previously? Or was that your first time?
Yeah, that was I compete every year. The Worlds started in 96. I started as a purple belt. First Worlds that I compete, semi-final, I was beat this guy by a lot of points, and I walk in his close guard. The ref say, "Hey, start working," right? And on the match was a canvas. The canvas is super slippery, right? And I tried to get up to break his guard, right? And he tried to sweep me. I post my hand on the floor. My shoulder came out. I yelled and verbal tap. Right, I lose. And the very next year, the same guy in the finals. Right. Okay. I lost in the semifinal. Got third place in the first tournament. The next year, fight this guy. and lost in the finals. He swept me, hold me tight. I couldn't move. I lost. Third year, I lost, not even podium, right? But lost my quarterfinals and still as a brown belt.
Yeah. And
I was 2 times a Pan American champion in the brown belt back then.
Okay.
But got Rhodes won nationals, which was a really hard tournament to win too. But Rhodes was second place. And I got my black belt 98, 99 at Rhodes. My first match was the best guy in the division, right? Roleta. The guy was incredible. But I lost by advantage. I pull guard. He was really good at guard. I said I was so scared about his guard. I said, no, I pull guard, I hold him my guard. Right? It feels like looking back. I don't think I attempt to win, but I was so afraid to get on top of that guy because his guard is so good, right? And I lost my first match. And the year after, the year after in 2000, I was in great shape, but incredible. 6 weeks on Brazil top team training for the best there, feeling well. And I think it's probably the first time I experienced overtraining. If I look back there, when I got there, I didn't want to be there anymore. I was my deep eyes, black, couldn't sleep the night before.
Yeah,
super tired. I remember lost to this guy by a lot of points, right?
Way too much like jiu-jitsu, or way too much exercise, or way too much of like a bunch of stuff?
Bunch of stuff.
Okay.
But I think way too much jiu-jitsu, because for me to, back then I said, look, if I don't train more than everyone in this room here, I don't deserve to be a champion, right? I need to train more of those guys.
You have to have the guts to go home and eat. You know, like some people don't realize that's a discipline of itself. Saying I need to get the hell out of here, and I need to go eat and rest.
No, I remember I have this guy, American guy, that every time after section, I was looking at him, he's still on the mat, and no, I need to be the last one to leave the mat. I cannot be. You know, and I have my students with me, and they wait outside, like, let's go. I want to leave. I want to do something, right? I said, no. As long as this guy's still here, try roll, we're going to roll more. Anyway, what happened? Probably, I think he lost his first match. I lost my first match. We were completely tired, exhausted, right? Didn't perform as well. Boom. Lost by a bunch of points. And then the next year, I decided to compete it was 2001. I decided to compete the absolute division. I broke my rib on my third match, and I was doing really well in the open, but I broke my rib, and I came back the next day. Couldn't be able to compete. But anyways, it was a lot of failed stories, right? Like not doing well. I think that I couldn't be a champion, right, in a big stage, because if you want to be considered the best in jiu-jitsu in the gi, you win IBJJF Rhodes as a black belt, right? And if you want to be nowadays considered the best in no-gi, you need to be ADCC champion, right? And for me, and I think Rhodes was the biggest stage ever, way bigger than ADCC back then. Yes, it was something that I was looking for. And your question was if I was
surprised.
I was surprised. I was in heaven. When I done, I was like this, my gosh, I couldn't believe, right? Like,
but it was there.
Emotions.
It was maybe there all along because you already were well established. You already went to Worlds a bunch. That's kind of what I've seen from him. Yeah. Sometimes I hear him talking about different people, and sometimes going to different classes and running into different people. And he's like, I was surprised I was able to actually do. And I'm like, I'm not surprised. I think you're incredible. Incredible. But I mean, I don't know a lot about jiu-jitsu, but I have seen him fight before, and I have observed from afar, from the outside looking in. I'm like, I don't see why you wouldn't be proficient against just about anybody in the world. For this guy,
100%,
right?
And I told him a few years back. He asked me, "You think that I can win Rhodes?" I said, "Of course." I said, "No. I'm talking about black belt as a black belt." I didn't change my face. I said, "Of course." I said, "But maybe in my age," I said, "Of course." I keep repeating for him the same thing. But how much? But he has too much in his plate, right? And now I don't think that me 2003 could have done what I done back then nowadays. It's because now they are professional athletes, right? Back then it was a part-time jiu-jitsu instructors try to make live teaching, that at the same time have the passion to compete. Maybe we'll say amateurs, but we treat ourselves as a professional athletes, right? That'll make money, right? The only thing that cares for us is the status, the having a career could be a world champion, more for the personal achievement. No, not even take more as a what my career can take from after be a world champion, right? It's just for myself, right? Now they're professional. They full-time jiu-jitsu instructor. Full-time athletes, right? They compete, they train, they make a living. I think that that's the difference now from we talk Gordon Ryan for the rest.
You were able to juggle both, but you're just saying it was in a different time.
Different time, yes, for sure. If you take the guys that won roads back then to, I don't think all those guys, they were jiu-jitsu instructors that compete as a professional athletes, right? Roger Gracie, you name it, Marcelo Garcia, they are jiu-jitsu instructor. They make living. That's how they make living. But they were the same time a professional athletes. Roger Gracie he lives in London. I never heard one of his trained partners that train at his gym that it's really good, right? Have a Brawl Nsima that comes from another city. Sometimes they train with him back then. But the best guys, they were part-time, right? Athletes, I would say that they treat themselves good, but it's a different story now. It's a different time for sure.
Pat Project family, how's it going? I want to talk to you guys about Within You Supplements, which is developed by Mark Bell. The cool thing about Within You is that it's not a crazy supplement line which has a crazy amount of unnecessary supplements. They stick to what is necessary. Whey protein, electrolytes, and the electrolytes are dope because they have amino acids and they have zinc. Then there's fasting gum. So we talk a lot about intermittent fasting on the podcast, and this fasting gum has apigenin, rutin, and caffeine, which can actually help you prolong a fast. It's really freaking cool. It was developed by Mark and Joel Green, who we've had on the podcast multiple times. So you guys got to check it out. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at markbellslingshot.com. And at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject10 to save 10% off your entire order. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
Yeah. A lot of the guys now are like they're training multiple times a day, every single day, and that's all they do.
That's all they do. I think the resting, the time to... Yeah, we always train twice a day, right? I stopped training twice a day, maybe a few years, maybe 3-4 years ago. But until my lifestyle, my part of my life, train twice a day.
Yeah,
right. But it's way more serious now. Yeah.
How has jiu-jitsu changed in the last several years? Has there been, like maybe in the beginning of jiu-jitsu, did people lean more towards traditional jiu-jitsu styles, and then maybe now there's more? Because of maybe UFC and MMA, do you think there's more like wrestling, or I know there's like more ankle locks and leg locks and things like that? Like how has it evolved in maybe the last like 5 years?
Jiu-jitsu, it's a relative new, right? If you talk about Brazil, no jiu-jitsu, my God, jiu-jitsu came from thousand years ago, right?
Yeah, but it's new on the world stage.
Yeah, the stage that we see, the stage that we love jiu-jitsu, right? 50 years ago, the jiu-jitsu that Hélio Gracie want to present to me, it was a pure self-defense, right? You self-defense, and it's not sport jiu-jitsu.
I see what he was showing you, like you already had him in a choke, and he was breaking free of that.
The only jiu-jitsu that he sees as a self-defense to teach people how to protect themselves. And for him was to spread jiu-jitsu, he was challenging different martial arts, right? And to get in a fight. We call it vale tudo. But the sport jiu-jitsu started in Brazil getting relative bigger was in 1990s, right? That's when the IBJJ, first CBJJ, the Brazilian Confederation started. And after that, the IBJJF Federation, right? International Federation, that started with the tournaments, big tournaments and everything. But I think that the jiu-jitsu that we would like, and I would say that most of the schools now, 90% of the school that have the students come from is the grappling, the rolling, the sparring section, the puzzle that escape from bad positions, the rolling part, right? Not more. We don't emphasize in the self-defense, right? Unless if you work on the side, right? It's not much. There's not a lot of schools that now make living teach self-defense. But don't think that those things that you practice for 45-minute rolling is not gonna save your ass in the fight, right? It will, for sure, right? You build. It's like you tell like wrestlers they don't know how to fight. They're gonna pick you up, crush your head in the concrete. Is gonna beat crap out of you. They all have submissions, right? But they know how to fight.
Yeah.
Now all the grinding that goes for hours and hours of training, it's gonna take you somewhere, right? They're good fighters. But I would say this since the 90s it started with more introduced in Brazil when they came here, and the early 2000s when they moved the roads to 2007 to here, that's I think started growing even more, right? And the ADCC does that more for no-gi, more still jiu-jitsu. I would rather say no-gi jiu-jitsu instead grappling, just to take the credit all for jiu-jitsu, right? Because those guys that win ADCC, they're all jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
And they're not grapplers. I hate this say grappler. No, they are jiu-jitsu guys. That are. Sometimes they take, some guys is more willing to do the gi, some guys willing to do more no-gi. I think two ways now there's going to be separate.
You're not winning one of those tournaments without knowing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, of course not.
Right.
Yeah. And I would say the last 10 years, ADC start getting bigger, and now with Gordon Ryan and I think things got out of proportion in terms of compared to where they are right now, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think something that makes him so dominant, Gordon Ryan? I mean, he's pretty much completely untouchable at the moment, right?
Yeah, he's just really
he's
good.
Taking the best guys and just
treat like nothing, right?
Kind of doing whatever he wants with them, right?
Yeah, he's the first guy that a full-time no-gi guy.
Yeah.
Right. He's a full-time professional, right? He has one of the best instructors, coach, mentor, master that he can have, that spend his 24 hours think about jiu-jitsu, how can make those guys better, right? That's John Danaher, right? His full-time coach, something that jiu-jitsu guys they don't have. If you tell me who's coaching André Galvão, I don't know. He's coaching himself, right? Who's coach Felipe Pena? Felipe Pena is one of the rivals of. He's living in Brazil, has his own school, right? Training with his trained partners. There's not even one guy that is a high-level guy that I heard, right? That he trained with. And he thinks that he's going to do well against a guy that is super talented, extremely dedicated to no-gi, and he dictate what he wants to do it. I want this rule set because he has the rule set that he wants is to show that look, as long as we stay here, you're not gonna you can hold me back for 10, 20 minutes, but after that, I'm gonna pick you apart, right? Or I'm gonna pick apart in the beginning, show how I do, and he's just extreme talent, dedicated to incredible dedication, right? And as a guy that full time that spend his time help him.
I think some guys.
He also gets. Go ahead. He also gets to train with a lot of monsters all the time. Like a lot of his training partners are like I think Nicholas Marigali was one of his training partners, and a bunch of those other guys are just also killers.
Yeah, but I think that John Dana built those killers.
He did,
and they broke up. Right,
that
squad they broke up. They not from what we heard, from what we saw, they're not trained together anymore.
Yeah,
Menegatti was before 6 months ago. He was a okay guy, right? Incredible in the gi, but not great in no gi, right? And look what he did in this ADCC. Got second place in his division, right? No, second place in the Open. No. Second place in the Open, third place in his division.
Yeah.
Right? A guy that never done no-gi before. It's unbelievable.
But I'm curious about Marigali and what your thoughts are on that. Like he, obviously John Danaher, he learned from him, but Was it because he had so much gi experience that it was easy for him to transfer to no gi? Do you think that's something, or do you think that played a factor? Because he was a gi world champion already.
Yeah. But the funny case of him, because he rely a lot in the grips. How he play his back on, like you play back on the ground, feet in the air, holding collar sleeves, and could it be a challenge for him?
Yeah,
right. And like Marcelo Garcia, he's good in both because he don't rely a lot in grips. Kind of the similar game that he has no gi has in the gi.
Yeah,
it's on you to try holding back in the gi, right? You have more chance to hold him back in the gi. But you see him in the gi and no gi, you don't see much different to Marcelo Garcia, right?
Yeah.
But Menegatti, from what I understand about him, it's different when he put the gi on, right? He had the grips, and one of his favorite techniques is loop choke, right? You're gonna do loop choke with no gi. You can't, right?
Yeah.
You can't. So that's why that feels like he did great, because I thought his style looks so super awful, right? Like the way he plays, it's I'm gonna say ugly, but doesn't look cool as Gordon Ryan, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't look the way that he set takedowns, right? He won. He won an award for the best takedown in the tournament. It's crazy, right? He never took anyone down in a gi.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan, he looks disinterested, and he looks like he forces the other guy to use a lot of muscle, and it looks rare that he uses any muscle, which I'm sure he's using a lot of strength, but he just doesn't seem frantic. Even when the guy's like pushing his shoulders in the beginning and just doing some of that stuff, he's just like letting the guy took him down. He just like let him. He like not even, but it wasn't even like he let him to get him into his guard. He just like let the guy just bowl him right over. He's very relaxed. It's incredible to witness.
It's crazy how he distributes his weight, right? That because he was very famous about just when he showed up, the first time he came up was in all his leg locks attacks, right? Now he's a dominant on top. He's famous by the way he mother people, the way he control people. Remind me a lot of Roger Gracie, right? What he done in the past, but was because he was an experienced grappler when with jiu-jitsu guy when he came up, right? And they say, well, what is the easiest way to get those black belts? Getting those legs and attack, because they're really poor in their legs attack. That's what he did. He came up first, the leg lock of everyone, but he knew it that they would find an answer for the leg. He didn't just stuck in the leg lock game.
Yeah.
He said, no, this here is going to run out of time for me. It's good to have on my sleeve if I have to use, but just have the leg attacks. They're going to fight. It's going to be easy for them to fight away from my leg attacks, right? And start build as he's doing this, start building his top game, his sweeps and his pass. It's unbelievable the way he control people. They don't move. And now I got the level, whatever you want to do. If you want to pull guard and go for legs, you tap a guy in 11 seconds, one of these matches.
Yeah.
Monster. And if you have to sweep, get on top, just smash those guys, he can. And yeah, he's just really good, right? People a lot of talk about the steroids abuse, right? But I don't want to take, because most of the guys that you go against use, right? What is the difference between him? Or he's doing really well on this show, right, compared to the other guy, because his shape, he looks unbelievable. He looks like a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
ripped, like all cut up, all strong, but it still have cardio. And I don't think this affects his technique. His technique is perfect, right? Look, Galvão.
Well, it's interesting that people would take steroids for jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu previously, like years and years ago, people wouldn't even really think that lifting was that effective for it. But probably they probably used to neglect it, but probably not anymore. But you seem to be a proponent of lifting. You're still jacked.
Yeah, I like I said, it of course, especially in a professional, any sports, right? Even golfer, if it's gonna help you somehow, right? Jiu-jitsu not different. It's you using your grips and your whole body. Doesn't matter if it's in the bottom, top. Of course, help. Yeah, I don't think it's fair if he if you using and someone not using, he has an edge on you for sure.
Yeah.
100% sure.
Do they test in those federations?
No. IBJJ they test, but they test just the winners on the day of the event. That's it. No, like USADA, they do at the UFC or the other sport professional.
Like,
sport.
you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Like they caught
6'2",
Kanan.
250. You're fine.
Yeah.
But they say this, I'm not gonna spend money on this. You know, it actually looks good because it looks all jacked, right? It's attractive. But if Hélio Gracie would be alive now, would be in shame for what he's seeing, right? He said, "Oh my gosh, man, what's wrong with you?
These monsters."
Yeah, as monsters, right? But bunch of. It's funny because when I met Hélio, I was already 195 buff kid, right?
Yeah.
And we went to change. And I took my sweatshirt. It was cold. When I put my gear on, he looked, the first time I felt insulted to be strong, right? I felt like, I felt intimidated to be. He looked to my dad, Mr. Werneck. It's going to be tough to teach your son, right? The two worst students you can have, the muscle ones and the intelligent ones. And your son looks like I have both. Because the muscle ones, they react first, the muscle instead the technique, right?
Instinct, technique, yeah.
And the intelligent ones, they always have the ifs. But if they do this, they're already looking forward for the second step, right? They're not willing to. If you teach the dumb ones, if you tell them this, they not even hesitate. They're gonna do what you ask for, right?
Dumb and skinny.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I remember that I would go back. Probably that's the longest that I stayed without doing any weights was right after I meet Hélio Gracie. At that point, no, I cannot use the strength. And I felt insulted every time that I was rolling. Someone looked at me, hey, you're so strong. Wait a second. Yeah. I pull guard, I swap you, I took your back, and I choke you. What does it strong means? Like, what is it? Yes. Right? If I was on top, just smash you, not moving, you could say, the guy's strong, I couldn't move him. But no, I pull guard, I tap you from the bottom, I swap you, I got clean techniques. You see any sweat on my no, I don't have any sweat on you because I didn't have to use my energy on you, right? And you call me strong, right? Yeah. You feel so, right? Oh, man.
I feel so hurt.
Yeah. Your leg looks like a tree. I cannot move your legs. It's not because I'm fluid on top of you. I move my direction, right? I'm avoid your hooks. Right, I'm avoiding you. Try take my back. I'm doing the right technique. Right, I'm not using half my weight against you. You call me strong. Let me show you how strong it is. Right, yeah. But in Gordon, I think that a combination of a bunch of stuff. Man, the guys are full time, and more guys like him is going to come up. Right, we have the Rutolos brothers. Amazing to watch those kids rolling. It's unbelievable. And before I was like, who cares about the what I call the PEDs on sport, right? And in jiu-jitsu in general, right? Until first, what Hélio Gracie said in the beginning, but for me now as a son that is look up to the others, right?
Right.
And I want to see him I want to see a good examples for him, right? I want to see the Rutolos. Those kids look like the friendly kids ever, right? They always smile, good face. But when it comes to compete, that's close you can get in a fight that I'll throw a punch. That's those kids. Feels like they ready to close, make a fist, a punch on the face. That's how mean they are when they compete. But I don't think they take PEDs, right? And they're savage. And when it comes to competing, that's what I want to look myself. Look, you still can be nice. Watch this kid, man. Yeah,
I think it changes the sport when people feel like they have to do it. You know, like bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman. Those sports are in that category.
Because this kid now he challenged Gordon Ryan, right? And they got in a internet altercation, right? Back and forth, and he told Gordon Ryan, "Hey, okay, good. I hope they keep this energy when they see each other." Right, like he wrestle, he grapple. You know, have this thing that we say in jiu-jitsu that pissed me off the most is porrada every day, right? Every day porrada. Porrada means a brawling, fighting, right? it isn't, one of those guys say this, they just train hard, right? If you say in the 1990s, you say porrada inside the school, people will take the jacket off, the jacket, say, okay, who's come to fight, right? They'll make a fist because someone's invade your school for you to get in a fight. Oh. Now, porrada, you don't do porrada. You just train you just training hard jiu-jitsu, right?
You do what was in that book that what was it, Helio Gracie? How do you say his name?
Helio Gracie, yes.
Yeah, you do what's in that book, and you got the roadmap for success, and you don't need to be mad, and you don't need to fight and insult people, right?
But those kids, when they grapple, they close to porrada. They close to a brawl because again, I think they're gonna do really well in MMA. I think they want to do MMA. I hope they stick in jiu-jitsu for a little longer because they're really good. They're twins brothers, man. They're unbelievable.
They got each other as partners to beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, you see the videos, them rolling each other. Yeah, they almost they have to break up the roll because they go crazy. Yeah, they're amazing. I have this kid, not that Mika Galvão is really good too. 18 years old, phenomenal. Unbelievable how good he is.
I watch his stuff. He moves really well.
Moves well, and his guard is unbelievable. He's he's submission hunter. They don't stop. But he lost to Kei Ruotolo, one of the twin brothers on the ADCC in the finals. It was the first time he ever got tapped. Mika Galvão got tapped. I think I'm said right. I don't think he never got tapped, but he got tapped by a heel hook. But that's a good generation. When I see those kids, man, stick longer in jiu-jitsu.
How is this guy's jiu-jitsu etiquette? Because we've had other people come in here before saying that he's injured some folks over there. So is he nice or?
Ray is the one who talks. Ray likes to over-exaggerate everything. So he says I'm mean and stuff, but it's not true.
Bunch of people haven't come back and things like that.
He told me,
Ray's just talking trash.
Yeah, Ray said, like, hey, yeah. You think that I did well against Nsima? As Nsima first roll, I said, what I mean, you did well, right? Did you have a roll with Nsima for real, right? They said, well, it's been nice with you, man. For really? Yeah, of course it's been nice with you, right? It's not that you're your first roll. He cares about, right? And no, man, for how much that he can use,
right?
It can be powerful and no, I never got hurt training with him. Never. We roll a lot, but Julian, another one to then train with him 2 sections a day and never got hurt. It happened before, of course happened. But most of the time is whoever push, he get the, I think that he stay a little bit above what you can. He never goes like this. I'm here, he's like this. No, he's always like this, right? He measure your intensity, right?
When someone like this comes into your gym after you train them for a while, are you kind of like, oh shit, like this guy, I got to really pay attention to this guy now. Like this is, when we roll. I mean, obviously you want these guys you want everyone to rise up and you want people to be the best that they can be. But do you kind of think about that a little bit? You're like, holy shit, these guys they're catching me or they're making me really have to reach into my bag of tricks kind of thing?
Not really. No, in terms of, no, it's improvement. It's inevitable, right? That they're going to get good. And I'm surprised for how long I can stick with them training, right? Because I'm almost 49. Yeah. For 30 years of doing this. But yes, it's happened, right? It's normal. Of course, sometimes we have I have more ego in terms of get caught when it was my mistake. God damn it! Wow, how stupid, how dumb I was leaving my arm here. Or when it comes nice and clear, this was good technique, right? And every time it's different, but not. I don't like to get to my, especially now of my age experience, right? To get to my head that oh no, he's better than me right now. I hope that he's better than me. He needs to be better than me, right? But no, I don't have this much. Of course, I'm compatible. When I'm training for competition, upset me the most because again, I don't want this. What happened with me right now in training section happen in the tournament, right? That's when my mind change a lot. But in a regular practice, no.
And you still compete, right?
I still compete. I'm master, right? last, I don't know, I started when I was 35, 34 when I started competing. When I quit competing the adults, I started competing the master. At least once a year I compete. And most of the major tournament, Master Roads, or nowadays just Master Roads. I feel excited to compete.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, because Andrew's starting jiu-jitsu and he's fairly strong, right, as an individual. And you said that Helio said the hardest people to train are like strong people or intelligent people. So when you see people that come into the gym and they have a lot of strength, how do you train somebody to not rely on their strength when they're training? Like, how do you drill that into somebody?
First, bring that quote from Hélio Gracie. Hopefully that the quote is gonna upset them the way I got upset, right? Yeah. Maybe feel okay. I have chip in my shoulder. I cannot use this strength right now, right? Mm-hmm. That's gonna happen. I told you. I think I told this quote. What I have to sign up there. I thought about this. Look, it's gonna be tough for you. You're super athletic, super strong, smart. You're gonna have to figure out to save. But it's funny about Nsima. He was one of the few guys that listened to me when I said about, look, you're a white belt now. You're gonna absorb like sponge, but you need to absorb the right technique for you, right? If you have a section that we have, it's because when I set the week, the technique of the week or technique or the month, right? I said, okay, this week we need to work. In the last 2 weeks we were working this guard, right? That goes for a foot lock and a sweep. Spent 2 weeks to work this. I'm not individual look to Nsima need to learn this. Most overall, I think that are going to fit for most of my students, right? It's a curriculum to be followed, right? And sometimes the technique is going to fit perfect in your game, sometimes not. It's not there yet for you, or it's not even part of your game. But you're going to drill like every single student, right? Mm-hmm. But this is the first 45 minutes, 35 minutes to do technique. The last 45 minutes, that's the most important for you. That's the rolling part, right? Especially for beginners, because you have now, in our school, we don't allow white belts to roll against each other. You're always going to roll someone higher belt than you. If everything that happened, you stop, hey, what did you do here? Just show me this technique, right? Okay, I'm stuck in the bottom. What should I do, right? If you take, you're gonna have at least 6 rolling of 6 minutes, let's say, with someone private less than you, right? And that's the time to build your own game on this. That's why I take the advantage of the higher belts. At the school, some etiquettes from different schools, you cannot ask a black belt to roll. Or a brown belt, or a black belt. No, the white belts, they cannot roll against each other. They need to ask those guys, because that's where they're gonna learn the most. But if they smart on this, Nsima always done that. Sometimes he finish a roll, and we change part. He still had feedback with his trained part. But okay, that technique, how that works, right? And now, of course, it's getting better. He's the one that passed the technique for the others, right? But he spent a lot of time. Okay. What is this? You finish roll. Okay, how you swept me? He never let the technique pass by. They're all learning, right? So this is intriguing. You react different than a Julia react now on this. That's what I think that helps a lot. And a lot of times, especially if you get to our school, in some classes you get there, you're gonna have 6, 7 black belts, Nsima's. Much good brown belts, and you feel like to fit this class, I need to be tough like those guys. I need to roll intense. I need to give my best for my trained partner. No, don't do that. If they want the best, they're not going to ask you right now white belt. They're going to ask Nsima. They're going to ask Julia. They're going to ask Mark. They're going to ask those guys. The time that they take for is to help you. Don't think that giving your best in terms of use your strengths right now is going to be good. No, they don't need that right now. And I think that one of the best ways to learn is teach someone, right? You try cover up the details that you miss when you just practice, when you do the technique. But when you have to show someone that have the ability that you have, if you don't cover up the techniques right, the movements right, they're not going to be able to do the technique.
So the input in the beginning is really, really important, super. Especially for a guy coming in that's a little more muscular.
Yeah, and I think that, again, talking during class, during rolling, right, is going to help you tremendous, because it's like I said, it's 6 minutes that the guys can spend on his time to help you to get better.
There's only so much you can learn in one day too, right?
Yeah,
like, so I mean, you got like in the first couple of times you go, you got maybe an hour, 2 hour session, and you got to kind of call it quits, right? You can only after a while, your brain starts going haywire, and you don't remember which arm to put where and what wrist to grab and everything. You're like, I don't remember any of this.
But that goes for when you start rolling. You're gonna do your instincts, right? Your reactions, instant reactions. You're gonna move the way you think that's right for you, right? Or you're gonna hold.
And those are normally bad if you're just going off a natural instinct and you have no grappling background there. That's what we've talked about before. It's like kind of opposite. Like, oh, I'm just going to roll this way. And the jiu-jitsu guy would be like, that's great. That's great for me. You just rolled right into what I wanted you to roll into.
I think that what has intrigued people in jiu-jitsu, what has intrigued people when the first time they saw Helio Gracie, everything they thought was right in a fight is starting to be wrong, right? We capitalize, jiu-jitsu is built to capitalize in your human instinct, right? What if you love someone, you want to hug. If you hate someone, you want to hug, right? Boxers, professional boxers, whoever get the first hit, what do? They clinch. They hug. It's a natural for us to hug, right? They're going to try strangle you like this. It's just the easiest way to armbar someone. They're going to try a headlock you. That's the easiest way to take someone's back and choke them, right? The reaction, the human reaction is built on jiu-jitsu is built on the human reaction to all the gaps that we leave.
I'm going to try to get the air off your throat by strangling you this way, and you can do whatever you want to me from there.
Yeah, right. And I don't think that the humans is the most smart animals in a fight, right? The way the instincts, right, is not smart. We're smart for different things, right? But we're not built. Another thing to jiu-jitsu is intrigue people. We're not built to stay this far for each other, punch each other in the face. It's not natural for us, right? And that's why I have more practice in jiu-jitsu than in other sports, right? Because the hug, the contact, right? It's natural. The ones that are built different, right? The boxers that can stand in front, again, they're tough until they hit first. Right? If they get hit, whatever it is, they're gonna clinch. They're gonna hug, right? Please stop me. Don't beat me up anymore. I think jiu-jitsu is built for that.
Do you think everybody? Do you think just about anybody possesses the ability to get pretty good at jiu-jitsu? Like back to Hélio Gracie with that book. Like if you learn a lot of this stuff that's in this book, you're going to be able to defend yourself pretty well, and you are probably going to end up pretty proficient at jiu-jitsu. Do you think that's true, or does it require a special person or some sort of athleticism? Because what I see, again from the outside, is just there's so many different body types. There's people that are short and stocky. There's people that are tall and lanky. There's people that are really skinny. There's people that are really jacked. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. Yeah, that's another thing that you take this guy that are any athletic ability, 6 foot tall, weight 145, right? Has a game for him, has a style for him, jiu-jitsu. The problem that we have right now, we have so much information come from videos that if we don't focus on the things that we're good at, we can be good at, you're wasting your time, right?
The things that you can be good at specifically.
Yes, right? The Hélio Gracie book was jiu-jitsu built to beat someone that's going to react with the instant reaction, right? It's not to beat our wrestlers, not to beat. Especially nowadays, as too much people knows what is guard. If you say guard back in the 1990s, nobody knew what is guard. Right?
People like this is dumb. They're just rolling around on the ground.
Exactly. Yes. But now if you get someone, you're still gonna react. Your instant reaction never done in martial arts. Just the human instant reaction. That book is perfect, right? Of course, you can maximize that. The techniques like Hélio Gracie did, but you're gonna be stuck in a book that teach you how to beat someone that don't have any martial arts background, right? But nowadays, what I believe in jiu-jitsu is the students gonna stay longer is the ones that love to have the passion to roll, right? right? They want to understand more. They don't do jiu-jitsu for the 0.1% chance that they're gonna get in a fight with the neighbor, right? They do jiu-jitsu for get better. It's funny to say, because 99% of jiu-jitsu is going to be against your training partner, right?
Yeah.
So how can I improve my train with Nsima? How can I improve my train with Dan? How can I improve my train with Mark, right? The guys around us, right? You build a jiu-jitsu to beat each other, right? And has some of the guys that compete and compete that goes against other people, or the ones that visit different schools, right? But it's the jiu-jitsu that we trained is built to beat our fellow practitioners, right?
Yeah.
That's all. But of course, think that they don't have experience in terms of they don't know how to protect themselves. That's dumb. Right? Of course, they knew. Like I said in the beginning, right? Tell wrestlers they can fight.
Yeah.
My gosh, man. Yeah, they can. Right.
That's what excited me when I first started was the first day I got beat up by multiple people. But I remember there was a roll with a black belt. He was like 150. And I mention this all the time. He rolled me like 6 times in 6 minutes. He was maybe 155, 160 pounds. And every time I came, I had guys, I was 265 at the time, right? And guys that were 160, 170 that were the upper belts were just wrecking me continuously, easily. Like they weren't using any effort, right? And that's why it was so fun. That's what made me stick with it, because I'm like, if these guys can kick my ass and I'm stronger and bigger than them, this is fucking awesome.
They clearly know something that you don't.
They know a lot that I don't know.
But that goes for what I mentioned before. If he could avoid most of the submission if he wanted just to not get tapped, right? But he was willing to learn. Okay, why you on your back, right? Why you don't try toss someone up and be on top? And he started doing a lot of his jiu-jitsu. He started different than most of the guys in his size do it.
So you're saying he's strong enough to just kind of like ball up and just hold on.
Just hold it, yes.
And not
get tapped.
Advance
right?
or learn anything.
One of the things that he did different, he went down. He went to his back to guard. Let me learn this here, right? Most of the guys his size, they don't do that. Forget it. I'm going to be on top of this kid, going to hold him, going to hold the collar, going to headlock him, squeeze his brain into his quit, right? And he didn't. That's what is scary about him, because he started pulling guard. You're going to work in the back, right? When you see he's already know how to do the holding someone in his guard, shooting for submissions, has the sweep set for him. Okay, that's require a lot of first. Don't have too much ego to lay in your back and get beat, like he said, right? But also to learn that. Start from the technique that's supposed to the smaller guy, the Hélio Gracie to be in the bottom, not the tough guy, right?
Yeah.
So me being very, very brand new, sometimes I don't even know what the right question is to ask, but like I want the upper belts and instructors to kind of be excited when I do ask questions, or like when they see me wanting to get better. So like a very general question, but like how can I be a better student to where like the upper belts do want to help me out?
Don't fight back, right? Every time you roll, say, look, this is my third class, right? I'm gonna show what I know so far. When I lay my back, I like to hold like this. Start like here, the beginning part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you start the roll, it's like, look, that's the best you can do it. No fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And can I start on my back? Can I start doing guard? And you just tell me what to do next. If I be on top, right? Oh, I roll the previous roll. The guy did this with me. How should I stop this? How can I learn this?
Mm-hmm.
I think the best way, but don't fight back.
Okay.
Right? Every time can be boring the first 6 months, but the much they're gonna learn during the 6 months is gonna be crazy compared to the ones that just fight back.
Mm-hmm.
You keep fighting back. You just work your instincts. You not learn the technique, right? But if you focus on asking much as you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee the guy's gonna come after, let's roll again. The next day, gonna ask you to roll, and goes for the guys that can help you the most,
mm-hmm.
right? Be selfish in this part. Okay, roll with that guy there. Every time he teach me something, go back and ask him again to roll,
mm-hmm.
right? I think that's the best way. Fighting back, just use your energy. Again, it's I don't think they're going to be too excited to, unless if someone with low self-esteem, you just want to beat someone bigger than him to make him feel strong.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that I should avoid.
Okay. And then in the beginning, like, I mean, I went 4 times a couple weeks in a row, and towards the end of the week, even Mark was saying that like my skin color was changing. I was freaking wrecked, you know, like I'm trying to eat and I'm still, you know, I'm just.
Oh yeah, you were like yellow.
He said I was jaundice.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, and you and Nsima, please chime in on this, but like how many times would you recommend somebody go? Just because like right now my whole body's still sore. You know, the last time I touched the mats was Friday and this is Monday now. So like in the beginning, because I see why Nsima loves it so much. I see why you love it so much. It's extremely addicting. Yeah. It's incredible. But at the same time, I also want to be able to do it for the next, forever. You know, I'm thinking like when my son's 10 years old, like me and him like getting rounds in. So like I want to stay in the game forever. So I don't want to go too hard now, but like I want to progress. I'm trying to be patient, but in the beginning, how often should somebody be going?
If you stop fighting, you can train every day, right? Because you learn technique every day.
Mm-hmm.
But that's your body shows that hey, take it easy. You know, it was too much last week. Let's take it easy this week. But if you decrease your rolling, your sparring section intensity, you can train a lot, right? Now, of course, this goes to your schedule, family, everything, right? If you can fit jiu-jitsu in your life, don't change. Jiu-jitsu is going to change your life, 100% sure. Like weight's going to change your life, right? A good habit is going to change your life. Like you already super fit guy, but how to fight less and learn more the technique right now. No, don't go for battles. Avoid those battles. If you can choose a higher rank guys to roll, it's going to be less ego and more to learn. Less ego for him and less ego for you too. Because you know, if I cannot beat this guy, has better technique than me. I just need to learn. If for him, it's like, yeah, I don't have nothing to prove against this guy, right? Then they not go hard on you. And more and more, you're going to learn what is the best trained partners for you to teach you in the beginning. But if you avoid those battles, fight that's going to hurt you physically, you know, like the next day you're going to be tired, you're going to spend more time rolling, right? It build a technique. It's going to prolong your time in sections, not even in the long term, right? In that day, that week, right? If you can avoid those strains, at the end of the week, you're going to feel fresh, and next week, you're going to start training again.
Yeah. Anything to add on, Nsima?
Dude, yeah, just listen to your body. I was telling you, man. Like,
I know.
Like, just don't overdo it. I overdid it at the beginning. Initially, I was like, I want to go like 5 days a week, and I quickly learned I could not go 5 days a week with the intensity that I was trying to do it at. So I started going 2 or 3 times a week, and then bumped it from there.
Yeah. So with all of that, I understand where this next answer is going to come from, but like in regards to like training outside of jiu-jitsu, because like I still want to get stronger in certain areas. Like me and Nsima have been working on like a weakness of mine, but like some days I'm just like, dude, I'm still tired from the day before. Like I don't want to work out because I'm going to go tomorrow because I want to conserve as much energy for jiu-jitsu. So again, is this something that like over time I'll be able to manage weight room stuff with jiu-jitsu, or is this just I need to slow down jiu-jitsu to make sure I don't lose the weight room?
The slow down is going to come down for the first question, right? Yeah, don't try learn more techniques possible, right? Yeah. If you see because we get to classes and you see a lot of the upper belts rolling for me, I want to roll like this guy. This guy looks older than me, looks out of shape than me, but he can stay on the mat for every single roll. Why I'm resting here right now? Because he has more techniques, right?
Yeah.
He knows how to save his energy way more than you. And that's going to, again, prolong his time on the mat. But it should not be interfered. But the problem, we, as a human, right, as a competitor, as a athlete to do sport, we like to push us to the edge. Doesn't matter what we do. Right. That's a problem that we need to manage. Right. That's what it forces you to get to jiu-jitsu, because you're intrigued about the techniques. It's addictive. This is crazy how this guy can, force you to get better, because you want to make sure that you improve your techniques. But the same can be a downside too, for injuries, for feel tired, feel discouraged sometimes. But if you manage in the beginning, try to hold yourself for at least the next 6 months. You're not going to learn much technique. You're going to still rolling. Someone higher ranked than me that is going to teach me. We're going to give some, but it's more learning process right now than actually the free spar, right? It's going to be huge for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else, Nsima?
Nah, dude, your body gets, I mean, Cassio, this you probably know about this too. Like over time, you get used to the stresses that of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. It's like your body's used to moving in those ranges of motion. So it's not as tiring as you do it more and more and more. And right now you're new.
Yeah. I know we were joking in the gym and I was just like, my fingertips hurt. Like my knees are sore, you know, like this is all new stuff for me. So it's been like, but you had mentioned like actually sparring and going like to open mat and that sort of thing. Again, for a newer person, how often should somebody be actually testing out some of the techniques? Like, should it be every time we learn something new and then we take it to the, testing ground, or it's sort of kind of like Milanichev saying like, right, we shouldn't even be going down to triples like for a couple years in powerlifting, right, to test things out. Is there anything like that with jiu-jitsu where it's like, well, maybe you need to like slow down before you can learn to like sprint?
Yeah, because it can be frustrating too, right? Because you learn the technique, someone that you're going to try execute the technique after, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's teaching you, but at the same time, he knows the answer for if it works or not, right? The progress of the learn the technique is going to take a while. It's going to adapt into your body, into your movements, before there's a chance to pull the trigger in the right time, right? Because that can show you, because we're going to show armbar, right? The same side show armbar is you're doing someone that know how to escape for the armbar, right? And this can take a little longer for you to adapt in your game, the technique. It's because you practice someone. It's like if you go for, if you get in a fight, right? The armbar they learn is going to be right there for you. But but when you go back to the gym, to the school, you're gonna practice someone that know how to escape from the armbar too. It can be before. Sometimes you stop pulling the armbar because I know he already knows how to stop the armbar, right? But you're gonna have in your arsenal, right? The technique is gonna be there for you, and sometimes it's gonna come the way you're not even expected. Man, I pulled this armbar. The ones that I thought never work, right? Because sometimes it's in that second, that moment that the arms present, the way that the moves, the way you're going to learn how to set it up, the position to get to what you want, right? But take longer, right? And but don't get discouraged.
Yeah. No, I know the first time I got my first submission, I text these guys the date and time, like, I can't believe this actually happened. Oh my God. It was like a huge celebration, for me at least. But the last question for me, and I understand where this is going, but like the gas tank, like you said it yourself, like there's dudes that look like they should be out of shape or in comparison to what I've been doing, but I'm like dying and everyone's still fresh. Does that come with experience, or is there something extra that I could be doing to help, raise my endurance and stay in the game longer?
No, it's just it's about the technique, right? It can change if you start looking for tournament. If I look for, it's your energy that you spend. The energy that you spend when you roll is double that I spend, maybe triple what is Nsima spend right now, because he knows when to hold his energy, right? He has a lot to offer too, but it's not necessary for him to use at that time, right? And you as a beginner, or every beginner that start from there, they use 100% the energy. It's not because you are out of gas, not because you don't have. It's because you use way more than you have for the pure long time. If you say, okay,
super embarrassing. Yeah. You're trying to go 100%, and the other guy's like, "What are you trying to do?"
Yeah, we're gonna roll if we roll in 5 minutes, I guarantee all of us you have to use 5 minutes all the energy that we have.
Yeah.
Right. The watts that we're gonna use is gonna be different, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna use this much. Mark's gonna be here. You're gonna be here. Me, you're gonna be here. But we use everything that we have, right? But if I have to know to save, okay, now change. We're going to do this for an hour. And maybe this one that I have here can prolong way longer than yours and Mark and even Nsima, right? Because how am I going to manage my energy during that time, right? that's one of the things that we say about Gordon Mai or the Gracies back then. They hated fight for time limit. The Gracies, they left UFC because they said, okay, right now we have a 30 minutes fight. It's no more no time limit. They left UFC, right? Because they feel like, well, one of the ways they can beat this guy, right, is make him tired and try catch him after, right?
Yeah.
But yes, your energy is good. I guarantee you have plenty of energy, but it's not how to save your energy during the time. You have this gas tank, you need to get to LA. But you run out of gas in Modesto, right?
Yeah.
How can I save that gas?
That's fair.
Right?
That is fair.
Yeah.
You're in Modesto right now.
Yeah. Because
no
I mean,
gas.
because I'm like, doing a whole burnout the whole way, like burning rubber. Because like even like my hands, like the first day I did like with a gi, I'm death gripping everything, and then I look at my hands and I'm bleeding. I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense though, because I do waste a ton of energy just going.
A lot of
too
times
hard.
going for a tournament, right? If you are your first day training practice is it's your first experience. The tournament is almost the same, and after you get there, how can I manage the energy that I completely took away from before I start competing? Right, when I shook my opponent's hand, right, my forearms already burned so much that I felt before I get to the fight started, right? How again is go manage energy, right?
Yeah. I'm curious about this. Since you've probably been a teacher to thousands of people at this point, I hope we don't take too long on this, but what is the difference between we know a white belt's very new, but for people who are doing jiu-jitsu now and they're like, how do I get to that next place? What is the difference between like a good, like you're at blue belt? Okay, what is that? What is a good purple belt? What does that mean? What is a good brown belt? And what is a good black belt?
It's impossible to get short on this, but
I know. I don't be short.
Yeah.
We got time.
Let's put it this way. That's why promote the student is very individual, right? Because I look at for different aspect. The blue belt probably is general, kind of the same because I have the chance to know you as much that I'm gonna know and the years to come, right?
Yeah.
And you go for somehow technique, right? How he improve his technique, for how consistent he's in training, right? Technique and ability to roll, like to spend time rolling, right? And I would say that it has a kind of almost like a built curriculum for that, the things that you should know when you go to a blue belt. Yeah. After that, for me, the way that I look has to be is super individual, right? A young athlete want to compete to a 40 years old guy that I train twice a week, no athletic abilities, no jiu-jitsu. Now he's feeling as a purple belt, going to a purple belt, he's in best shape of his life.
Yeah.
The improvement that he has, because in the 20s, never had a chance to do any sports, 30s eating, right? And now he's feeling better, right?
Yeah.
But how far he can go, but it's more, it's individual. It's when he goes through, I look at you completely different than a lot of the brown belts that we have in class, right? And because I see you a potential world champion, right? Whatever belt you go.
Yeah.
But some of the other belts, I look at some of the other guys, I look, okay, how he implement jiu-jitsu in his life, and how jiu-jitsu changed his life, right? Again, a guy that his stress got way better, is in better shape, and he can roll, of course, right? But there's not much come for the titles that he has, right? He's gonna have if you won the purple belt at BJJF, I can promote you to a brown belt. Or no, nothing related with this. Yeah. But it's more the time and the expectations that we put me and him on his next goal, right? I want to start training 3 times a week now. I want to train 4 times. I want to lose 10 pounds, right? I want to be able to roll instead of 3 rolls a day, we'll do 5 rolls every class, right? Yeah. I think it goes from there. I see the improvement to make him better overall, right? And on the mat and outside the mat too.
I find what you said really interesting. Like, don't fight back, don't fight it. it's kind of something that you can take into the rest of your life. We see a lot of people with diet. They make it such a fight. They make it such a battle that it's such a struggle that it consumes a lot of energy, time. They develop anxiety over it. They made way too many rules for themselves. Whereas if they just didn't fight it as much and they just kind of implemented really simple rules that they can actually follow, then maybe they can flow with it a little bit better.
Oh yeah, how they can adapt, right? Adapt the diet for their lives. If the diet is going to change his routine for his whole family, right? We cannot have a gluten at home right now. We cannot have carbs anymore. From my kids to, no, it is so selfish, right? But how can he can improve his diet, right? His overall life, and still adapting to live social and interact his life to the others, right? I think jiu-jitsu like this too. We get obsessed, right? But at the same time, how can I still doing this for a long time? That I'll get hurt, that I'll overdo it, overtrain, and don't get frustrated. The frustration, I think, is part of our progress, right? To improve. But we cannot overdo it, those things, right? You cannot overthought. You cannot overfight, right? And for beginners, for whatever it is in life, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a constant learning, right? You're trying to learn from every loss that you have. Every time you put yourself into too stressful a situation, you try to learn from it and grow each time.
And it's going to show us on the mat, right? There's nothing more real than get someone to roll for 6 minutes. You're going to know him more than actually have an hour conversation when you start rolling. You can see, especially if you know your training part, if he's frustrated that day, if it's something in his mind is not moving the right direction, is not doing it's you learn a lot from rolling, right?
How do you personally eat, and how do you train? How do you lift, and what's been best for you?
I change, depends. I'm pretty consistent on my routine, right? But I change the intensity depends how I train. It's dictated by how much I have on my jiu-jitsu, right? Now I'm not training, I'm training 3 times a week, 4 times a week, right? That's the minimum I have been training since I started jiu-jitsu. But I'm doing outside jiu-jitsu. I'm training pretty much every day, right? I break down on one day I just do cardio. It just means like or sprints, more sprints or intense 30 minutes cardio on the bike. Or
do you think some of that stuff could help Andrew while he's doing jiu-jitsu, or should he wait maybe a little while?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It's not important because he's already in good shape. If he was out of shape, I said yes, walk, right? Walk in the park, right? Do some body weight workout would have helped him, but he's in shape. You can see that he has
just needs time on the mat.
Time on the mat, exactly. And one day I do. Nsima gave me a weight routine.
You're still doing that?
I'm still doing that.
Nice.
I took a lot of the equipments from the old school.
Yeah.
I have at home, and I do one day upper body, one day lower body.
Okay.
And I rotate this. One day cardio, one day upper body weights, and one day. Sometimes I change a little bit. Let's say that my legs barely change in terms of you start with a squat, but I can change. Let's say instead I do like another 3 or 4 sets of squats that heavy weights, which is I don't do it. I do more plyometrics, or I do lunges for 400 meters, right? I do, but always doing something in terms of my lower body, upper body, and cardio. Training right now. In the morning, 3 times, 4 times a week. But I feel every day I need to do something. Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah.
It's good for my mind, good for my body. I don't take breaks, but again, because I'm not pushing hard. Before roads, I changed a lot because I was training more. I was doing less weights and less, and every year my body has to adapt to what I have. Right, you get older. Yes, you cannot put the intensity they used to put, and it feels like when I'm looking, time flies so bad that I say, oh man, last year before rolls I was training every day, and I start looking. Wait a second, last year training twice a day. No, I start calculating. This was 4 years ago, right? I said, oh, no. Last year, it was just I was trained just once a day. So, get your mind. You still have, when I start competing as adult, I was 35 years old, right? 34, 35 years old. And I remember they start Master Roads as I was 38, right? And I was just 3-year gap. But 3-year gap for me back then looks like 10, right? And I was looking, no, I need to train the way I used to train over here. The first week that I was trying to follow the things I was followed 3 years ago, man, my body was so tired, right?
Yeah.
And every year changed a little bit, right? It's me trying to adapt my body. I'm not rolling with Nsima the way I used to roll anymore, right? More the time too, that it comes more in the evening now. But even there, when I saw him a couple of times before rolls, I said, no, man, I'm gonna, no, not today, Nsima. And again, he can be so.
You're like, I gotta get going.
He can be gentle too, man. He adapt. He can manage the pace, right? Things that I done in the past, he does that with me too. I said, no, if you go this far, I can go just a little bit here, right? He's not going like this. But it's more managing my energy for the trains that I can do right now as a 40. When I think I'm almost 49 years old, it's crazy, right? I feel like, man, how old are you?
I just turned 30.
Yeah, it's at 30. I could be his dad. Julius is 34. Julius, the guy trained every day, twice a day. Yeah. He does the one-time eating. Right? He do 2 sections that I'll eat anything. Right?
He's so lean too. He's
lean. He can roll every single roll. It's crazy. It's when we train in the morning, I think that I push him hard. When I get in the evening class, he's doing 2 sections with 2 rolls with Nsima, like going nuts. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like 2 cats go like this. But he's 30, 33, 34, man. Yeah. I was in my prime when I was until my 35. And if I looking back, I could have been my prime until my 38. Seriously, I could have extended my prime. But
where were you motherfuckers back then?
Right? Yeah.
How's your nutrition? Like, do you do anything real in particular? And did you notice anything when you were winning world titles, when you were at your best, nutrition-wise, that like actually really helped at all? Or was it just like, I just need to be fit. I just need to look fit.
The only thing that I noticed, go by decades, right? Before I was 30, anything that I was eating would have gone to my arms, right? my last,
great.
And when I got to my next to my late 30s, things changed. If I eat bad, it was going to my guts, right? And but my diet, I did for years. I did fasting. But one thing that I noticed, I couldn't replace, I couldn't eat the amount that I need on that day, because I was doing like a big dinner. When I got big dinner, I started to have reflexes, right?
Acid reflux and stuff.
Yeah, it was hard for me to sleep the night, and I have to change for years. And I like it because I have a way less crave for sugar when I was doing intermittent fast. I was have my breakfast as a lunch and a big dinner. One a gap of 4 hours. And I was doing 20 hours of fasting, 18 hours, depends the day. I did for like 3-4 years. But I felt like I was losing a lot of muscle. I was going to break over the way that I started having anxiety too, because I started drink too much coffee between. And I feel that, that.
On an empty stomach, wired and tired and everything else,
And I changed, but I would say that my diet, it's pretty clean. Let's say nowadays I do like I blend a bunch of a shake in the morning with protein, bananas, different nuts. What else? A little bit oatmeal. I drink this in the morning. I have a decent lunch with rice and some protein, usually salmon. I have a dinner very similar I have for lunch. Right, that's my everyday, most of my days routine. Right, I don't eat much junk food. But one of my when you ask him when I won roads, man, I was eating whatever I want.
Did you drink at all?
Social.
Okay.
Social. No, social. I never enjoy. It's funny because I started enjoying coffee in my 30s. I enjoy drink on my late 30s, right? Like a wine, a good wine, a beer, maybe in my 40s. Before that was just in case at some occasional, let's a glass of wine. I was on vacation, right? Okay, I had it. But I never enjoyed until my 20s. I would say until my professional professional athlete life or whatever, my 30s. I was no alcohol, like in the vacations, and coffee, never drink coffee before that. And I started, as getting older, to create those habits, right? Yeah. But now I'm not drinking anymore. It's because the anxiety stuff, feels like I sleep really bad when I drink or wine, or if I drink maybe in the early afternoon, maybe it's not going to affect my sleep, my mood. Mm-hmm. But because I never have opportunity to drink during the day, that I'm not have been drinking. Yeah.
I barely ever drink because it'll mess up sleep. It does actually mess up sleep. So it's a good choice.
I like the buzz that I had it before, right? The relax. The first hour or two, after a couple glasses of wine, I have a good food. But the problem is when I drink wine or beer, I'm gonna eat more. Mm-hmm. And the dessert for sure is gonna come. If I can take a ride or whatever. Any stores to find a chocolate. But if I stick with my diet, I feel less crave for bad food.
How long have you had your own gym for?
Since 2006.
Has that been difficult to manage that along with, still getting after it as an athlete?
I would say we have what we deserve, right? How much effort you put on, right? Mm-hmm. For the little effort that I put on in terms of promote my school, I'm doing really well, right? The lifestyle that I have, I teach 2 classes a day. Of course, as a competitor, anything in life, you feel like you could do way better, right? For the name that I have, for especially in Sacramento, right? Yeah. I would say 7% of the Jiu-Jitsu came from some way from me, from my students, from my black belts. But I struggle here and there, right? Like I said, I feel like I could have do better if I would put more time. But I have the same lifestyle that I have once I started teaching when I was 20, 21 years old. Teach twice a day. I feel like I still live in a village, right? That I'm going to open my doors and the neighbors, the word of mouth is going to come. Oh, I have this guy here. Nowhere. It's this place here. Come to. I'm going to open my door. I'm going to start teach my class. People are going to show up, right? And when I moved here for good was like this. Because I was the only place, I had 2 schools here in Sacramento, in Jiu-Jitsu, but I was the only one that full-time Jiu-Jitsu instructor. I've been doing this since I was 21. Like my full-time, I've never done nothing in my life besides teach Jiu-Jitsu until I was 21. But I could be better on the social media, on the marketing stuff, right? But again, I cannot complain. Right, the new school now, which it's been a year that we moved, the new location is doing well. The school in Roseville we closed for a long time during COVID because of the location. Need to pick it up more. I think that we need to put more effort to improve the numbers there. But again, for a jiu-jitsu kid a kid that at 18 years old, the only thing that I want to do, one more thing that maybe I regret I should listen to my dad was put more time in the economy pages of the newspaper, right? To learn a little bit more about business, right? No, it's I would say that again, for the time that I put on, I'm doing well.
Yeah, great. Do you see yourself coaching jiu-jitsu just like because you're rolling maybe 4 times a week now, but you're continuing to teach and teach and teach. Is this something you're just going to do until the day you die?
Yeah, I don't think that if you decide to be a jiu-jitsu instructor, you have a retirement plan, right? Yeah. You cannot retire. But first, I never that a mistake. I'm going to put this for example, Derek Germano from Waza. Now he spent years on his life sitting on the desk and working.
Yeah.
Right? 9 to 5. 9 to 8, right? On his what he was his craft back then. And I don't, right? For me, work, I wouldn't say work, teaching
Mm-hmm.
is been for me since I started jiu-jitsu, 21 years old, I'm 27 years old in my life, 27 years of my life, just teaching. Like I said, show up at the class on time to teach and teach in the evening. But I never thought about retirement. I never thought about, of course, I have more freedom to plan my vacations before I have kids, right? The kids change.
Yeah.
But the way that I run my life now is the same that was 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that and again, I could improve way more on the terms of the numbers of students, put my name out there more. But for as much as that I know in terms of what I have is what I earned.
And you also enjoy teaching.
Yeah. I teach what I thanks God, I teach what I want, the class that I want to teach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna take more time for me to sit on a desk and start, okay, now you plan curriculums for the other classes, you have more students run class for me to improve the school.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, yes, doing okay for.
Yeah.
Andrew, want to take us on out of here, buddy?
Sure thing. Make sure everybody sticks around for Smelly's tip once we kind of sign off here. But powerproject.live for everything Power Project related, whether it be the mug that Nsima's rocking right now, or our awesome microdose shirt. There you go. Anyway, links to them down in the description, or links to us down in the description, podcast show notes. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are not subscribed right here on YouTube, and drop those comments down below. Please follow the podcast at MB Power Project on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. Nsima, where you at?
Discord's down below. At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, at Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Cassio, where can people find you? Where can people, if you're there in Sacramento, honestly, y'all got to come train, but where can people find the schools?
5800 Madison and Mazanita. You can find me on CassioWerneck.com.
Yeah.
I have the three schools that is 2 schools, mine, and the other school is affiliate school. But if you're not in the area, next to us, we have so many good schools that come from me, right? Waza, Synergy, Maxwell. Oh, so many. Sorry, I cannot name it. Just a few, right? Gold Jiu-Jitsu, Gold Country Jiu-Jitsu from Kiel. So many schools. Sorry, guys, if I miss someone, right? But so CassioWerneck.com, and Instagram, you can Cassio Werneck, my Instagram, well, Cassio Werneck Jiu-Jitsu too. You can find me there.
Yeah, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. It was fun. Yeah, we had that time that was, I think, your first podcast on distance was with me, right?
Yeah, during the pandemic.
The day before they're supposed to come here, they shut down everything. We did online.
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
Yeah, man.
I just want to, the tip for today is just, I want to encourage people to try something new, try something different. Whether it's diet, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's going for a run. A lot of times we have a lot of hang-ups on why we're not doing these things or why we're not giving them a shot. But it could be something that changes your life forever. Maybe you walk into jiu-jitsu and it just, on day one, for some reason, just clicks with you. And you find it to be something that you really love. Or maybe you go out on a run, you get a runner's high, or maybe you find out that you suck at something. Just like Cassio did. Found out he sucked at it, and Nsima found out he sucked at it. Andrew's finding out he sucks at it. I found out more recently that I suck at running, and now I'm addicted to it. So it can change. It can be something that, yes, it is hard to take a step towards or for, but it could be something that also changes your life. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Catch you guys later. Thank you so much.
It was fun.